Welcome to episode 51 of Confidence Culture Conversations. Hi, Kirubai, how are you?
I'm well, thank you. Thank you once again, Elizabeth. Happy New Year to you and to your family. It's great to be back after a long break.
I know, right?
Yeah, yeah. We had a long break in the month of December. We celebrated Christmas. We had lots of Christmas parties,
Yes, we did.
get-togethers, family reunions, and now we are here to kickstart the new year. 2024. What an exciting year we are looking forward to.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Honestly, it's, do you know what? Whenever we start a new year, I always feel like it's a blank canvas.
Mm-hmm.
And like you could do anything with it. You could literally do anything with it. You just know that you've got 365 days. That's it. Go. Hi, Ethel. Happy New Year to you too. Thank you for
Happy,
joining us.
Happy New Year to you, Ethel, my dear. Thank you for joining us from Nigeria.
Woohoo.
Lovely, lovely, lovely.
So, Kirubai, what did you get up to during the break?
Well, I had a lot of catching up to do, and sorting out things. It never ends. We met up and we had a party for our kingdompreneurs. That was great. Uh, yeah, second week of December we had that great Christmas party with friends and with all the other members, sharing food and laughter and lots of photographs. It was great. And then I went away for Christmas. That was lovely. Lovely, lovely, lovely. So now I'm back with a sore throat,
Oh no.
with all that excitement. But you know what? I'm happy to be back. I'm happy, motivated. We are here together to motivate, encourage, and be a blessing to everyone who listens to our little chit chats, words of wisdom, nuggets shared, and experiences, life's experiences. We are here to share to our audience.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, Ethel, we are sending all the love from the UK to you two in Nigeria.
Yes, we're looking forward to seeing you in the UK, Ethel.
Definitely, definitely. So, sorry, it looks like I'm a bit distracted because I'm just trying to make sure that this is showing where it needs to be showing.
Okay.
Just
All
making
right.
sure that it's also available on LinkedIn. For whatever reason,
Not connecting.
I hope it is, but hey, okay, that's all right. We'll carry on. We'll carry on. I won't let that distract us. So, my Christmas and New Year was lovely. So, like Kirubai said, we had kingdompreneurs, and after that, I couldn't wait for Janelle to finish school because when she finished school, we were like, off we go! Time to go to Bristol, and we spent Christmas and New Year in Bristol. Interestingly enough, we've had Christmas in Bristol. For the past maybe 2-3 years in a row. Um, but we always run back to London for New Year. But this time we actually decided to stay in Bristol for the New Year, which was lovely because we went to my old church, the church I used to go to, where Tunji took me from. So we went there. We had a lovely time of fellowship with them, which was really nice. And it was funny because for me it was like it's been 6 years because
Mm.
as some of you will know, we had our anniversary just before the New Year as well, our 6th year anniversary. So like between Christmas and New Year, it's just been like an all week long party.
Time to celebrate. Yeah.
Absolutely, but you know what? That's an amazing way to start the new year, like being great, celebrating and being grateful and launching into the new year because you launch into the new year with a lot of expectation, with excitement, with joy, because you don't want to come into the new year looking like the new year is already crushing you. No, we are going to crush 2024.
Yes.
And that doesn't mean that it's going to be perfect.
It's
But you know what? The attitude you take into it is going to make a difference.
So true. Having the right attitude to step into this new threshold, it sets your mind to doing all the things that is impossible. And
Absolutely.
I believe this 2024 is going to be a year of many challenges,
Mm.
many doors opening, and yet there are
Mm-hmm.
adversities that will also rise. But you know what? That's why we are here to help, to chat about having the positive self image.
That's it.
Yep. When you are positive in yourself and having the right mindset,
Mm-hmm.
all things are possible.
There you go. There you go. So our mindset is so important.
Hmm.
And you've mentioned that the way that we're seeing ourselves can really set us up.
Hmm.
And I'm gonna run on that, because one of the things I put in the headline for today was really the way that you see yourself, think of yourself, is going to determine how you present yourself. So your self-image is really your image of yourself, right?
Hmm.
How you see yourself. So how you see yourself is going to determine whether you walk into the room like, hey, or you walk into a room like, hi, I don't even know why I'm here. It's going to determine that. So Kirubai, like, you do stuff about, I can see on your title, transformational coach, inside and out. And you do a lot on self, like the outward self image.
That's right.
How does what does our outward self image reflect about how we see ourselves? If that question makes sense.
Definitely, Elizabeth. I think the way we walk into a room, you talked about, owning the space.
Mm.
Owning the space in you with your demeanor, with the way you look, the
Yep.
way you walk in with your deportment, and the
Mm-hmm.
way you carry yourself through your personal branding, your clothes. I think it all adds up to your self-image.
Okay.
And the important factor is it all has to come from the inside. You can wear Prada, you can wear YSL, you can wear all the big designers, and yet you can feel so small inside. And it
Mm.
defeats the purpose.
That's it.
When you stand in front of the mirror, who do you think that's facing that mirror?
Mm.
Are you the road runner? And I always remember this cartoon, the road runner. He's always running away because
I
he's
remember that
afraid.
one too.
Yeah, he's afraid of this opponent.
Mm.
So there is an opponent that keeps opposing you on
Mm.
the inside. But you know what? You always have to see who you are in Christ. So the identity has to come forth.
Mm.
You are a child of God, the Most High God, and you can do all things. So when it projects on the outside, it's a perfect combination.
Wow.
Does that
Okay.
make sense, Elizabeth?
No, that makes sense. And you know what? It reminds me of the verse in the Bible that says, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks.
Hmm. Hmm.
I mean, yes, that's talking about speaking, but it goes to show that what's on the inside very much affects what's on the outside.
Hmm.
And sometimes we like to think we can, when we talk about fake it till you make it, you know, sometimes we think that the outward can influence the inside, and to a degree, it might be able to degree, like, look good, feel good, try to help yourself, like, get your subconscious, try to see a different perspective of yourself. But really, what you see or think of yourself deep down is going to have a huge impact. It will affect how you speak to yourself.
Hmm.
Kiruba, you mentioned about, like, looking in the mirror. There's a lot of people who look in the mirror and they don't like the lady or the gentleman that's looking back at them. They have so many, like, issues or so many negative thoughts. Like, oh, my nose looks too big. Oh, my head is too small. Oh, my. And I'm just like, I remember one time speaking to a friend or speaking to somebody, should I say, and I was saying that I don't like wearing wigs, right? I don't like wearing wigs, and so I've never owned a wig. I just it's not me. So thankfully, my husband doesn't have to be buying me £100 wigs or whatever. I don't know how much they cost nowadays, but yeah. Um, but someone said to me that, like with the short hair, they can't carry short hair or they can't reveal their short hair because they don't like the shape of their head. So by wearing a wig, they're trying to sort of mask the shape of the head. And I'm like, it's your head, own it. There's not much you can do about it.
You can't change it. Yeah, you
So
can't
just
change it.
embrace it.
Yeah, you have to embrace some of these. But you know what? Somebody might turn around and say, "Oh, I can do plastic surgery." Nah, let's not go there. Let's not go there.
I think if someone wants to use their money for that, I don't know. Like,
But you know what? We are in this coaching business. We want to encourage women, men, young people that it the point made across today is love yourself. Because I want to share an experience, my personal experience. There was a point in my life which I didn't love myself. I
wow.
had low self-image. I always thought that I couldn't achieve what I have achieved over the years. I didn't like the way I look because being a plus size, a grand figure like myself, I always put myself down. Didn't know how to carry myself. So there were a lot of things that were coming against me. But you know what? One day I sat down and I said, I can't take, it's not, I do not accept this, the lie of the enemy. Because you're lying to yourself. The enemy, the voice, the negative voice that is within you. And that's why I retrained myself in this area to help other women.
Wow.
Because we all are not size 10, size 8,
Size
size
zero.
6, size 0. We are all not born like that. We all are born fearfully and wonderfully differently. And we have to embrace, there are ways to work around.
Work with what you have.
Yeah, hide some things, flaunt some things, show some things. So, it was a challenge because I had to practice what I preached first. So it was a good experience. And now I help many women, many shapes and sizes, but just not the outward, but I work with their inwards.
Thank you so much for sharing that. That's really powerful, and the fact that you've gone from not just taking yourself through it, but actually now being able to empower others and help others to go from the place where you once were, and helping them to look good and feel good. And see the good, so that they can look in the mirror and go, "Oh, I love that lady staring back at me," But there was something that came to mind, earlier on when you sort of threw in there the issue of plastic surgery, and I was just thinking to myself, there is no amount of plastic surgery, like no matter how much plastic surgery you do, if you have a negative self-image, plastic surgery is not going to fix it. If you have a negative self-image, there is no amount of plastic surgery that's going to fix it. You have to do the inside work. And the inside work, it can take time. There's process. Sometimes it means facing the negative things that people have said to you in times past. But if you're going to break through from that negative self-image, you've got to be willing to put the work in. You can go and spend £10,000 on plastic surgery, get bum lifts, cheek lifts, chin lifts, head lifts, whatever lift you want. You can put you can put the eyelashes on like this, which
I like that.
it will not fix negative self-image. How you see yourself deep down. Because there are a lot of women who do all those things to mask how they really feel on the inside. I want to wear makeup because I don't look good.
So,
You are beautiful. Embrace you. Like, some of us need to take time and just sit with ourselves and tell ourselves, you look beautiful today. I said, honestly, it can make such a difference to the way that you see yourself.
looks like, Elizabeth, you're poking and prodding today.
I'm gonna hold back. I'm gonna hold back.
Let it go, let go. Because I think a lot of women, and one of the greatest challenges is women looking at other women on social media, and it has brought a lot of personal disgrace, which is unwarranted.
Mm, mm.
And there's a good place for social media. Elizabeth, you can tell how much you have encouraged people to go on social media. But some of these social media um, Instagram accounts, they can be quite um, what is the word? It can be disheartening.
Yeah.
It can be. But you know what? If you're not in that place, don't go to it yet. Build your self-esteem.
Mm.
Mm,
Do the inside work.
yeah, do that inside work that is so important.
There's a lady, I think she was featured on BBC at some point, whether it's last year or the year before. And she went through a phase where she became an Instagram influencer.
Hmm.
And so every day she was posting, those poses that they do, sorry. And everyone was looking at her like, wow, like perfect body. This is who I want. This is what I want to look like. But she was suffering on the inside.
Mm.
And she actually went through like eating disorders and all these things. Her mental health suffered. She went through depression. And people were seeing her as Miss Perfect. They were
Mm.
looking at her Instagram account and they were like, she's perfect. I want to be like her. But deep down on the inside, she was suffering. And she had to get to a stage where she had to face the reality and do the work on her inside. So that's why I was saying, like, no amount of plastic surgery is going to fix how you feel on the inside. It's not going to fix the internal thoughts in your subconscious and the internal perspective you have of yourself. There's a story I like to share, and it's a true story. One time at a wedding, I met a young lady. We were having a nice conversation, and then she was having a good laugh with her friends as well. And her friends were then going to take a picture, and she ran away from the picture.
Wow.
I said, wait, I will take the picture. Go into the picture. She said, no. I said, why?
Mm.
Because I had built a rapport with her, so we could have that conversation. I said, why? What's wrong? She said, I don't like the way I look.
Mm.
And you know what? If she had not said that, just looking at her, she was nicely dressed, she was having fun, but deep down, she doesn't like the way that she looks.
I've been there. I've been
We've
there.
talked about your journey, isn't it? Your journey.
Yeah.
And I think I remember speaking to someone else as well who mentioned that she didn't like the way that she looked because of the image that had been portrayed of
Mhm.
what supposedly a perfect woman looks like.
Mhm.
And for her, she was like, I don't look like that. I'm more of a I want to say a fanta glass shaped. I don't know what they call them nowadays, but
Hourglass, hourglass.
hourglass. Yeah, she was like, I'm more of an hourglass figures, and I'm not. That doesn't fit the image of the perfect size zero woman, and so I don't like the way I look. And I challenged her. I said, you know what? Go and start taking pictures of yourself.
And that's what I did.
Because it honestly, like, you'll be hiding away from pictures because you're like, I don't like the way I look. But the reality is, this is how you look. Don't hate on yourself. Don't take yourself into a place of depression because you don't like the way that you look. It's a sad reality that there are lots of people that go through that. You know, I remember being at the business show, London Business Show, sometime in November, and I was helping some friends on a they had a I want to say a table, but it's not a table, but they had a 360 booth. So if you've been on a 360 machine, you know that it's fun. You just go on there, you dance, and this camera is going around you, and you're just dancing. If you don't know what I mean, go onto my Facebook. You'll find a reel with me dancing. That's what it is. Anyway, and I was trying to get some people to do it, bearing in mind they had come to a business show, right? So we're being all professional. No, I don't want to look like I'm having fun. And I remember speaking to somebody and she was like, I don't have fun. I can't do that. And I'm like, oh, that's boring. Like, live a little. And I think when we get to a stage where we don't like ourselves, we don't even know how to have fun. We don't know how to have a good time.
And I think, uh, adding on to that, I think facing your fears is one good way of breaking free from your negative self image. Let me plug this in. When I got to know, when my husband was courting me, so one of the things that he asked me was, "Do you have pictures of yourself?" I said,
Oh,
"No." He asked me why. I said, "No, I don't like taking pictures, blah blah blah." And when he came to visit me in Malaysia, we got a photographer and we took pictures, 1,000 pictures, just to break free. And Robert is an avid photographer. He loves pictures. So we took, and that thing, that act really broke me free from my fear of looking at myself in pictures, in clicks. And now he tells me, "Oh, I can't stop you from taking pictures."
I should say thank you, Robert, if you're listening to this.
So I had to face my fears. Mm. And ladies and gentlemen, if you're out there, face your fears, your inner fears of not being good enough.
That's
Face
the
it. Face it. This is the year of open doors, of facing your fears.
face your fear.
I was
Face
just
your fear.
thinking, sorry, one of the fears that I have is of heights. I was just thinking the other day, I would really like and love to jump off a plane.
I think we need to put that in context, Kirubai, before someone sends a message to say, "Is Kirubai okay?" I would like to jump off a plane.
No, I mean, of course, with an instructor, you know, and parachuting down.
Skydive.
Skydiving, yeah, parachuting down. I wanted to do it before I turned 60, but never got around. But something that I'm still contemplating.
It's funny you say that because my husband is scared of heights. And when we went to Morocco,
Mm.
we climbed up these mountains, and I remember there's a video clip I shared at some point, and I was recording, and we were on the edge of the cliff, and I sort of just slid the camera just down so you could see how far down. And a friend of mine messaged me and she's like, "I'd be dying at that stage." I wouldn't do that. But my husband, like, he held himself together. Even though he says he's scared of heights, he held himself together as we were high up like that. So yeah, Kirubai, do it. before your birthday in November.
I have to pick up a lot of Dutch courage to do it.
We should have put a picture of you jumping out of a plane on your vision board.
Yeah, I should, no?
I don't know what Robert will say, but I like what you said, that we should face our fears.
Mm-hmm.
And for all of us, there might be things out there that we are, we have placed a block. And so because of that, we can't explore that avenue of life because we have said, actually, no, I can't do that. Maybe this is the year where you write down the list, and gradually as the year goes, you do something to break the fear. You do something that takes you a step away from the thing that you fear. So like Kirubai said, if she's scared of heights, jump out of a plane. Find something that works for you and stretch yourself outside of that limitation that you have placed. Something that self-image will do is it will place limitations on us. If you have a negative self-image,
lots of limitations, yes,
you will put so many limitations on yourself. The way you talk about yourself will be very negative. The way that you present yourself, the things that you say yes to. There are a lot of people out there who, like, we treat others very highly, but we step on ourselves.
It's like John Maxwell says, you put a lid on yourself.
That's it.
Cover.
The Bible talks about loving your neighbor as you love yourself. And we focus a lot on the loving your neighbor. We don't put much emphasis on loving yourself. Because again, the Bible talks about humility. The Bible also talks about not having an exaggerated image of yourself. But there is a balance. And one thing I like to tell people when I meet people who are in that place where they're struggling with negative self-image is, one, God did not create inferior beings. Like, God did not just say, oh, this one, I'm going to make a mistake on this one. No, he created and it was good. It was good. So in his eyes, you're beautiful. You're amazing. You're all those wonderful things. But somehow your subconscious has become corrupted by maybe the experiences you've been through, maybe the things that people have said. Maybe as you were growing up, some people say to you, oh, you don't look good. Oh, you're this, you're that. I remember one time as I was growing up as a teenager, there was a family friend who used to come visit, but sometimes this family friend used to annoy me because he would always make a comment about my weight. I'm like, dude, what's your problem? Like, I'm not connected to you like that. Like, leave my weight alone. But you have to go through a journey of loving who you are, because when you grow into that place of having a positive self-image, you will start to realize that it's actually affecting your decisions as well. In a positive way. Because some of us settle. Some of us settle for nonsense. We settle for rubbish. We settle for things that are, I'm going to say it, beneath us. We settle for things that we have no business with because we don't see good in ourselves. We miss out on opportunities because we don't think we deserve it, because we don't see ourselves in that place. And sometimes it's society and the environment that has affected it. Sometimes it's the interpretation of scripture as well. Because there are lots of people there's some people that might be listening to this right now and they're like, woman, be quiet. You're a woman. If I took that and had that as my narrative, huh? I think God might strike me like, Elizabeth, are you okay? Are you okay? Because God did not create me to just be silent or to just be a doormat.
Mhm.
So if you're one of those people who struggles with your self-image, you have not been created as junk. You have not been created as a mistake. If that's the label, because we do that sometimes. You know, when you have kids after like with such a huge gap, then people are like, oh, were you a mistake? Like you were not planned.
Mm.
Hey, my parents might not have planned for me, but God planned for me. And so he assured that I was here and I'm present.
But remember, that your self-image is actually, you put it very nicely. You are not a mistake. Your self-image is tied up to your purpose. And lo and behold, if you do not realize your purpose, you do not realize your assignment that is over your life, and then you're going to stand in front of God the day of judgment. He's going to ask all of us, what have you done to the assignment that is assigned to you? Because a lot of, like we always say, it is tied up to who do you think you are in Christ? Some of us, most of us, have assignments that are beyond us. But help is there. God is our helper. Besides that, he puts people around us to help us achieve, to attain, and to realize that assignment that is before us.
Absolutely.
And that's why people like Elizabeth and I, we are here to help. To help. Because personal development is also tied up to our self-image. The more we develop ourselves, the more rhombus we feel in ourselves. Positive image that is attainable. You might say, oh, it sounds boastful. No, we boast in God, who is our creator and maker. So own that space, go conquer what you have. And if you know, and if you do not know, we are here to help you. And that makes life exciting.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And you know what? You mentioned about like our identity. If you have a negative self-image, and also how this links into purpose, like if you mentioned about let me use the example, the classic example, right? And I think I've shared it on here before, the classic example from the Bible. When they went to spy the land, what happened?
Mm-hmm.
You had the minority that came back and said, we are well able to.
Mm-hmm.
What was their self-image? It was a positive one, right? It was different. Yes. And then you had the ones who came and said, we were like grasshoppers. The funny thing is, no one came and said, you look like a grasshopper. What are you doing here? No, it's the way they saw themselves. They saw themselves as grasshoppers.
Small.
How are you seeing yourself? In 2024, you are not going to win if you do not change the way you see yourself. If you see yourself as a grasshopper, guess what? You will forever be a grasshopper. You will eat grasshopper food. You will stay where grasshoppers stay. You will not rise above being a grasshopper if that's the way you see yourself. I'm sorry. Like, I'm not cussing you, but I'm just saying, if that's the way you're seeing yourself, then that's going to be your reality. So you need to change the way that you see yourself. If you want to change your reality, change your narrative, change the narrative that you have accepted, Rewrite it. Rewrite it, because your thoughts are impacting your actions. So you need to change. Honestly, do you see a grasshopper saying, "I'm the king of the jungle," or like, no, grasshoppers are like down there. I'm from Uganda. We eat grasshoppers. Sorry,
Oh.
we eat grasshoppers. We roast them, we fry them up, and they're so tasty. It's a delicacy. We eat grasshoppers. So I don't want to be one of those grasshoppers being eaten. But the reality is, honestly, it's like going into a battle. Imagine David came to fight Goliath, right? And David was like, "Hey, I'm like a grasshopper." Because that's how everyone else was seeing themselves. They were seeing Goliath as this almighty giant. They did not see the giant on the inside of them. But they were seeing the other guy as a giant. But David came with a different mindset. David came and he's like, "Who is this uncircumcised Philistine that tries to defy the army of the Lord?" And you know what? David's perception of himself wasn't just based on where he was coming from or the things that he had accomplished. It was based on God. Because he said that tries to defy the army of the Lord, not tries to defy David, the shepherd boy. No, the army of the Lord. So David saw himself as being part of the army of the Lord. There might be battles that you are going to face in 2024. And unless you change your perspective of how you see yourself, of how you see that giant that's in front of you, unless you change your perspective, you're not going to win. You will be like David's brothers that were there, and they were like scared. They were scared, like, we can't go, we can't win. But David is like small boy with his
Sling.
his sling that probably disqualifies him from the battle. Even the giant was laughing at him. But David had a positive self-image, and that made a huge difference for him.
And the sling, he had 5 stones, and 5 denotes the grace. So David had the grace to pull down Goliath. And today I want to encourage each one of you. Positive self-image. You have the grace to attain the assignment that is before you. God has already given the grace so sufficiently for each one of us. Each one of us to bring our assignment to completion. So whether you are a whether you are a grasshopper or the Lion King, the choice is in your hands.
The choice is in your hands. You know, Kiruba, you mentioned earlier on about how self-image and purpose can be linked. And I wanna go there a little bit, because there are things that God has said about us. And actually, there might be a vision that God has given you about yourself, about where He wants to take you, about a place He wants to elevate you to, about a responsibility He wants to place on you. But until you can see yourself being in that position, until you can see yourself attaining that place, until you can change your perspective of yourself, you cannot step into that place of purpose.
God will not allow you. God will never allow you to have that negative disposition to walk into your purpose. I'm sorry to say that. He will
So
never
you
allow
have, it's so important that you shift your perspective, and maybe, you know, all of us need to just sit down and check ourselves. And make sure that the way we think about ourselves aligns with what the Word of God says about us. Not even what people say about us, but what the Word of God says about us. I remember a few years ago speaking to a young lady, and this lady was going through depression. So for her, there was like a cloud of heaviness and darkness around her. And I said to her, I said, "Tell me something good about you." I sat there for about 5 minutes and she couldn't think. She
Wow.
said, there's nothing. She said, I don't know. I said, no. I said, I'm not going to accept that as a response. And I said to her, I said, you have a husband, right? And you told me your husband is always telling you how beautiful you are. He's trying to overcompensate because you don't believe there's any good in you. So he's always trying to make sure he's reminding you, but you still can't see it. The Bible says that the God of this world has blinded.
Mm.
And for some of you, the way you see yourself is with the scales and the blindness that the enemy has placed on your eyes. So you can't see yourself the way that God wants to see you. Thank you, Tasha. You're finally learning this for yourself.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You know, Elizabeth, God doesn't violate our free will.
Mm.
So it has to be done in our own free will. So it has to come from us. And then He will help us to achieve, to bring that positive self image and to walk into purpose and destiny.
Mm.
So let's get out of this mud that we are in.
Get rid of
Wallowing,
the stinking thinking.
yeah, the wallowing in that mud, but
Mm.
standing up and saying, I'm a giant. There is a giant that is within me. So challenge yourself. Every day go to the mirror and say, I'm a giant. I am loved. You know, there is a Sunday school song about I'm a big I have a big God. I remember I mean
Is
it's
it a Sunday school song?
yes it is. So you have a big God within you. So in the free will, embrace the big God.
Honestly, whoever's listening to this today, like this is just a wake-up call and a reminder to you that there is something so precious and beautiful and amazing about you. You need to stop seeing yourself as a grasshopper. You need to stop seeing yourself as this small little insignificant somebody. You are significant. You are valuable. You are relevant. You matter. You matter. Like, seriously, the enemy will try to deceive you. Situations will try to deceive you. There's a number of people who go through depression, and one of the issues is the self-esteem, the thoughts they're thinking about themselves.
Killing them, yeah.
Some people think, everyone else will be better without me being here, and they take their own lives. That's the sad reality. So how we see ourselves is so important. Like, you can't overdo it. It's important. And yes, there's some people who go the extreme side of pride, but pride is more about because there's people who ask the question, what's the difference between confidence and pride? Like, am I being overconfident, or am I full of pride? And for me, pride is one where you're looking down on others. But confidence is, I'm seeing the good in me. Like, I'm not trying to bring down others because I can see the good and the beauty in them too. Confidence is, I'm secure in who I am. It's not, I need to bring this brother or sister down. Kind of like what we do in politics sometimes, where they're trying to tear each other's image. They're trying to destroy each other's image.
Mm.
If you ever look at a political campaign, that's what they try to do. They try to destroy each other's image.
Yeah, smear campaign.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
But
think
confidence is not about destroying someone else's image.
I think confidence is it's not in competition. It's knowing who you are. And when competition comes, that's where I think ego and pride works
Mm,
negatively in your life. You need to have a little bit of pride. You need to have pride of yourself. But when it's projecting on someone else, then it becomes competition,
mm.
competitiveness, which is not healthy. Does that make sense, Elizabeth?
No, it makes sense. It makes
Mm.
sense because competing with others is not. It's not going to get us. It's not going to get us where we want to go. Like face your front, face your lane, and run your race. You're not running somebody else's race.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
You're running your race. We when we look at, I use the David and Goliath example. Like, we didn't see David laughing at his brothers saying, ho ho ho, you can't do it, I can do it. Like, you didn't see that comparison. In fact, they tried to, I love the bit where Saul tries to get David to wear the armor.
That's silly.
And David is like, I can't. And for some of us, that's what we're trying to do.
Oh, yes. Well said, Elizabeth.
Some of us are trying to do that because we want to be
Me
where other
too.
people are at. We
Me
want to
too.
be like this person.
Yes,
So
me.
we're trying. I'm going to say this because it just came into my, I'm going to drop it because it just came. But like those pants that people buy and they've got like an extra bit of bum. Like, you're trying to. Have you not seen them, Kira?
That padded bums.
Yeah, the padded bum. Like, really? I'm sorry. I know there's some people that wear these things and it makes them feel good, but is it necessary? To what end? To what end? But it's one of those things. Like, don't try to be like someone else instead of shining in your uniqueness. If David had tried to defeat Goliath wearing the armor, there is no way David would have been victorious. David knew, I don't need that. It didn't apply to, like, I didn't have to use it when I was defeating the animals in the forest, in the bush, when I was looking after the sheep. I didn't need the armor. So I don't need the armor right now. So for some of us, we're distracting ourselves with armor that doesn't belong to us. And we're trying to use the notion of fake it till you make it. But you can't fake it till you make it if you're not willing to do the inside work. You can't fake it till you make it if you don't address the issues on the inside. If you don't speak to the lady or the gentleman on the inside. The way you see yourself, it needs to change. If you can't look in the mirror and tell that person staring back at you some amazing things about who they are, then there's a problem. There's a problem. Because we struggle. Like, when someone says, like, say something good or something you've achieved, we struggle. Yet we can very easily point out the good in others, but we struggle to see the treasure that is in us. Change how you see yourself. If 2024 is going to be the year that you want it to be, you have to change how you see yourself.
So this whole week I've been writing on new wine skins. So if you want to become new, you need to work on that new. To be that new person is change. The vehicle is change. The vehicle is change. So we started off this we kickstarted this year with positive self-image. So we're going to expand on lots of new topics this year. And for those who want to revisit those topics we did last year or 2 years ago, it's still on YouTube. And we speak our hearts. We speak with our heart, and we want to be a blessing to you all who are watching. Because some of our journeys have been very painful. But today we are here, confident women, talking about some of these things that matters, things that matter.
Hmm.
Mm.
So, ladies, gentlemen, whoever's watching, like if you know somebody who needs to listen to this, please don't just like this, but share it. If you're watching on YouTube, you can subscribe because this is being shown on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on YouTube. It's going to be on my page and Kirubai's page. So you can find us, you can subscribe to our YouTube channels. We do this every Tuesday. We're on episode 51 today. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Thus far has the Lord brought us. So we are grateful for the journey so far because it has been a journey, but God has been good. So if there's someone that you know that needs to listen to this because they're dealing with some self-image issues, like please send it to them. And if they need to reach out to us, like Kirubai said, they can reach out to us because we are here to serve you. We're here to add value to you. And just to I think the last thing that I'm going to say, there is something that John Maxwell says about seeing value in yourself in order to add value to others. So you have to have a positive self-image of yourself if you're going to properly pour out into others as well. Otherwise, it's a fake. It's a fake. Or you're a fake, should I say.
Oops.
Just calling it out as it is.
Yep.
So it's important that we do the work on ourselves. And for those who are looking to get into relationships, let's go there. Those who are looking to get into relationships, there is a myth out there. He completes me. She completes me. Rubbish. Rubbish.
Probably a topic that we can visit next week.
You need to be complete because we're talking about self-image. So as you get into a relationship, your self-image is so important. How you see yourself, because some people end up with the wrong guy. And then he'll kick you, he'll punch you, and you'll still be there. I love you.
Because you don't value yourself.
You do? You love him? Hey, black eye here, red eye, white eye, all the color eyes. No. That's not what you were created for. You were not like, I don't know everybody's purpose on earth, but I know that there is nobody that God created to be a punch bag for anybody else. Whether male or female. But how you see yourself will determine whether you stay on the receiving end of the punch or you walk away. It will determine it. So how you see yourself is very important. And it's actually a really good conversation to start us off for the year. Because if we can't see ourselves right, then this year is not going to be what we want it to be.
It's a stepping stone to your personal success.
Get things into perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Get things into perspective. How you will walk into a room is about your self-image. How you know, they talk about body language. I'm not a body language expert, but they talk about body language. And body language is kind of explaining what's on the inside, but reflected on the outside.
Lots of telltales, negative telltales,
So it's...
Oh, you're giving me ideas for a lot of topics, Elizabeth.
Yeah, let's just bring them out of the bag slowly by slowly. But on the relationship front, for real, seriously, one thing I told Tunji. So for those that don't know or you're watching for the first time, I'm married to an amazing guy called Tunji, aka Pastor Tunji, and I don't even know why I did that. But anyway. Excuse me, when I met Tunji, one of the things I say to him was, Tunji, I'm not into wearing a lot of makeup. I know that there's a lot of young ladies today who can't leave the house without makeup. But I say to him, I said, look, I have recently started wearing makeup and I used not to wear makeup. All of a sudden, just like maybe like a year before I met him, someone kind of pushed me to do some makeup. Anyway, someone nudged me to start doing makeup, but it wasn't something I do every time. So I made it clear to him. I said, I'm kind of your natural girl. And if that's going to be a problem for you, then we can't take this anywhere. And thankfully for him, he's not into all that makeup stuff. So he was like, you're beautiful the way you are. And so that was it for us. We were able to move forward. So when I'm talking about like relationships and self-image, how you see yourself is going to determine how you present yourself to a potential suitor. It's going to determine what you settle for. It's going to determine all these things. What you say yes to, what you say no to. Some of you think that your clock has ticked too far. So any Tom, Dick, and Harry, you're like, hey, yeah, marry me, marry me.
Elizabeth, save it for next week. Let's talk about relationships. And let's say good night.
Right. I think we're going to call it a night, as Kirubai rightly said, because I could go on. I didn't know that this is where this conversation was going to go, but I just felt I needed to say all those things. And like Kirubai said before, like, this is like what you see is what you get. This is who we are. Like literally. Thank you to everyone who has joined us this evening. Thank you, Tasha. Thank you, Ethel. Thank you, Tunji. I think you joined at one point. And there was another gentleman that joined us earlier on as well.
He's Pastor Godsent. He's from Nigeria.
Oh, there you go. Like we're international. Thank you, Lord. Hallelujah. Anyway, so thank you to everyone who has joined us. And if you're watching this on replay, just comment, replay. We would love to just have some interaction with you. There's amazing things coming ahead for Confidence Culture Conversations. And we will do an official announcement very soon. At some point we'll do an official announcement, but God has progressed Confidence Culture, and we are now going to be doing a lot more work within communities as well. So if you are watching and you have a community that you are part of, whether it's an online community or a physical community, and you would like us to bring an element of this conversation, it might not be as laughter filled and joking the way that we've done it today, but if you want us to bring an element of the conversations that we've been having and the topics we've been covering to your community, like I say, whether it's online, whether it's in person, we are more than happy to do that. So feel free to reach out to us. We are based in the UK, so maybe our physical is a bit restricted, but you know, we're happy for you to pay for us to fly to another nation to come and deliver something like this. So honestly, and particularly if you're part of a Christian community, we love doing work with Christian women because we are Christian women ourselves, so we can relate totally. So if you have a community of Christian women and you think this would be perfect for them, please get in touch with us. Kirubai, we have an email address, don't we?
Yes, we do.
I'll put it on for next time.
We do. Yes, we have progressed for some time. It's info at culture and confidence. No, let's get it right. I don't know whether I could. The next time. All right,
we'll get it right for next time, right? Or maybe I could, if you kept talking, I could quickly find it.
No. It's I can go into it because apologies is something new that we have just established. So we are still grappling around the.
We're getting there. We're there. Okay, I think I've got it.
Info at
confidence-culture.com. So honestly, like if you want to get in touch with us, or you know, you can get in touch with us via this email address, and I'll just put it in the comments section. So if you got a request for us, you want us to come and do a talk, whatever, please feel free to reach out to us. Just one final thing before we finish off, at least final thing from me anyway. There is an event that we are going to be part of, or we're part of, in a way, called, it's to do with women in leadership. And it's happening in March, the 15th and the 16th of March. It's called the Well Woman Summit. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be in London, but registration is open now. There's some amazing women who are going to be speaking, and we would love for you to join us. We would love for you to be our guests, at the summit. So over the next coming weeks, we'll share the information, so that you can have the information to hand. But I can actually,
tickets are going for £30. It's just very, very affordable. And it's a whole day program. You're going to meet some amazing women. Time for connection and time for collaboration. So,
absolutely. So save the date. I think it's the evening of the 15th, and then the full day on the 16th. Women, please, just, if you've got some, I want to say, some sisters, some girlfriends, some frenemies,
enemies.
You can even invite your pastor's wife, all this. You can make it like a women's day out.
Yeah.
To come and be empowered. It's going to be amazing. Let me stop there, because there's more events that we have coming for you, and we'll keep you posted as time goes by. So Kirubai, I need to be quiet because I'm going to keep talking. So over to you.
Good night. Good night, everyone.
All right, people. Have a lovely rest of the day, whether it's morning, evening, I don't know, wherever you're watching from. God bless you, and we will be back next week, right? We'll be back next week. So God bless you, and thank you for joining us.
Goodbye for now.
Bye.